judgment, right? It's
too,
like,
right?
oh, this must be a bad family because, you know, like, why would their child be doing this, right? So it's very lonely.
It is a lonely world.
It's lonely to be facing those issues because you not only face the stigma from the medical professionals that should be helping you, but you face it in your community, in your own family sometimes. There's that judgment, right? And it comes down to lack of education, lack of, awareness, right? Like,
at first I wanted to dig my
ignorance.
head in the ground. I wanted to be an ostrich. Honest to God, I pray to God, just let me put my head in the ground for a little while just to get away from the shame. I'm not ashamed anymore. I've educated. I know what I'm dealing with now. I wish I had educated for past family members a little bit more and not stigmatized who they were. I feel really bad and very guilty for the way that I've treated some people in the past because I had my own judgment. I've never drank. I've never done drugs. I've never, so I guess my judgment was to belittle that so that I wasn't there. So that I never found myself in the spot that they were. So I think, in a way, my judgment was to protect myself because I came from a long line of alcoholics and drug users and, people that had really fallen off of this system. So for me, I felt my judgment was to protect myself. But now that I'm educated, I'm like, no, you weren't protecting anything but you. And it was extremely selfish of you. And now you have to evolve. Spread this education, let people know that this stigma that they put on actually makes me giggle at you.
Yeah.
Actually, it makes me happy now because I'm like, you know what, you're uneducated. And if you're proud to share your uneducation, I'm proud to let you know how uneducated you are. Let's share this pride.
Yeah.
If you're proud to share your uneducation, I'm proud to smile at you about being uneducated.
And I think that's why we need these talks are so important, is to, make people aware and to, be honest about our own journey and that we had our own stigma. We had our own, things that we were taught. And, there was misinformation and stuff. Like, I grew up in a family of alcoholics. I've never been drunk in my life. Like, I've never drank or used drugs or smoked anything like that. So, because it scared me. I saw what alcohol did to people and had no exposure to drugs, until Ryan's struggles. So, I beat myself up sometimes, that I wasn't as educated back then as I am now, but I can't live in that guilt. I just, I did the best that I could with the information I had at the time. And I feel that, we need to just open our minds and our hearts, and we need to learn from each other. And that's why I feel that the value of lived experience is so important. The science is important too, because, our politicians and the people that are in a position of power to make decisions over people's lives need to be making those decisions based on information and science rather than from, their own stigma and judgment and what they were brought up to believe, because that has no place in these decisions. People's lives are on the line. But as a society, we need to evolve, and we need to, educate ourselves, because it doesn't discriminate. And it could be your family, it could be your child, your grandchild, it's not just people with substance use disorder that are dying from toxic drugs. You could use drugs. You could be a teenager at a party and using drugs for your first and last time.
Yeah, I've never done drugs before.
The supply is, right?
And I've been drugged. I've been at a party and my husband has literally dragged me out vomiting because I was drugged. So, if I can at 45 years old go to a party and somebody drugs me, anybody, it could happen to absolutely anyone out there. It could happen. You don't know who's out there. You don't know who's going to be around you. I'm definitely cautious about what I do and how I drink and keep my drinks covered now. It's become almost a fear for me after being drugged that, you don't even have to willingly choose to do the drugs for it to actually happen to you.
For sure. And people choose to do certain drugs, but they don't really know what they're getting, because
They don't.
the drug supply is so contaminated now, right? And that's really why we need the safe supply, because you don't know what you're getting. Ryan didn't use opioids. He used meth. That was his drug of choice. Opioids scared him, and still he died, right? And that's happening more and more. It's not just people dying of opioid overdose. They're dying from stimulants and other drugs as well. And so the whole supply is toxic, and it's dangerous.
Absolutely.
And that's why we need to keep having these talks. And we need to let people know these are not numbers. These are people. These are real people. And they should still be here, and they're not.
I just
And
think
that's
the
failure
longer
to the
we wait
system.
on decriminalization, how many millionaire drug dealers have we created that are out there and building these bigger enterprises? We are fueling an enterprise that we can't control. So now they've got all these policing and all this stuff, but you've got an enterprise out there that's way bigger than us. It's way bigger than our police, our municipalities, and all of that kind of stuff. They don't care which districts that they're playing in. They'll come across your municipality to somebody else's municipality. They don't care. They're going to go wherever the money is.
Okay.
And unfortunately, our children are the targets for that.
And criminalizing drugs actually costs us more money. If we
does.
treated it like a medical issue, it actually, we would be saving.
Absolutely.
Saving money. And we would be saving lives.
And
but even if you want to talk about it from a tax perspective.
Well, you look at
it
Jordan's
makes sense.
4-month journey in the hospital, how much money that journey would have cost him.
Yeah.
If they had have just done harm reduction to begin with, he would have had a safe supply and he wouldn't have overdosed, saving them 4 months of extreme amounts of payments for all of the services that
all
he
the
required.
people that are in jail for, related to drugs.
And let's talk about jail. I mean, how many recommendations are they going to make about jail and how to improve the standards of jail? But they've done nothing. None of those recommendations. I mean, all these families have lost somebody, made these crucial breakdowns of these recommendations, as what I'm doing right now, and they've basically been fluffed under the carpet. None of them have been implemented. I mean, if you have a scanner at the hospital, but you don't have a tech that knows how to use it, what good is an ultrasound?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and same with all their other stuff and their screening. Okay, you're screening all the people going in here, but what about the staff?
Yeah.
Because I know that some of your staff are drug dealers. I'm aware. And other people are aware too, but you're not targeting your people because you're protecting them because of a union. Well, I'm sorry, but do they really deserve a union if they're letting people die or bringing drugs into a facility? These are illegal actions.
Yeah.
How much can our unions cover illegal action? I don't understand. And to have all these $1 million equipments and stuff like that, nobody knows how to use them? That's just a slap in the face to people like me that thought that they could actually help me with my situation. Or anybody else, right?
Yeah. So Jordan's death was traumatic and it was preventable. And you've been a vocal advocate for justice for Jordan, but also for other people that have had mental health and substance users that have been involved with the justice system. What stigma have you faced in your advocacy work?
Well, people automatically look at me. Well, Jordan had so much drugs on him. They don't recognize that was probably only a week and a half's worth of drugs. They think it's a large amount because it was a golf ball size amount. But when you break down somebody's use and how much they use, it's really not a whole lot. So, and the fact that he was already in jail, they labeled him as a drug dealer from him being there and having that quantity. Now, they've also said that Jordan would smuggle it to get into prison. Well, that was never, ever said. That was actually just put in there by a coroner that made up his own allegations. Like, coroners are just made allegations now? I have no idea. But that was never a statement that came. Jordan hid it from us. Of course, we didn't know about harm reduction. Every time Jordan would overdose, we would take his stuff. I would turn it into the police department. They knew who I was. I would call and say, listen, I have drugs in my car. Please don't stop me on my way. They're not mine. I'm bringing them to you. You know, I would let them know that I'm bringing them. I didn't know about harm reduction and about all that kind of stuff. So I was constantly stealing his drugs and dropping them off to police officers because I was petrified of somebody else having it. So they automatically stigmatized Jordan. He died in jail. He's a drug dealer, and we don't want to be friends with you because we feel like your son was part of the cause. Uneducated. It's an uneducated decision because every single person that has ever used substance has the ability to share with somebody else or be labeled as a drug dealer. Whether you died at home or in prison just means that I was working really hard to try to make sure your kid didn't get what Jordan had. You know, and I don't think that people should stigmatize me for that. So again, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, it's okay, because I don't want to be friends with people like that. I want to be friends with people like you that understand that all of our kids are just one unit of people that are not numbers. They're all people that were loved and genuinely cared about. Irregardless of Jordan's mental health, he was still a vibrant young boy that loved to sleep with his mom. Can I stay with you tonight? Absolutely, Mom. He would sleep on my shoulder as an adult. He would love that. Just snuggle with his mom. He was like a very affectionate, lovable little boy. Really, when it came down to it, he was always my little boy.
Ryan was a mama's boy. He would not want to admit it when he grew up, but he still was. Everyone knew it. Even his friends say, yeah, he was definitely a mama's boy.
Yeah.
But like what you were saying about, you know, like I found that your circle gets smaller, you know, because there's certain people you have to cut out of your life because you know what they think about your child. And it's like, there's no room in my life for people like that, you know? If you have an open mind and you want to learn and you want to educate yourself, then fine, sit down. I'll have a conversation with you, an honest conversation. But if you're just going to hold judgment about me and my family and my child, there's no place for that in my life.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Like, I've cut out 90% of the people in my life probably and just said no. Unless you... But I've also opened the window. If you want to walk back into my life, become educated, sit and have a conversation with me. We'll make an appointment if you need to. I'll even hire intervention if that's what you need. But... I can't have that right now.
For sure, mine is not like 100%, you know, you're out of my life forever, but it's just like, I have to protect my own mental health. I'm still dealing with my own grief and trauma, as you are, and you only have so much energy, right? So,
and if they tell me to put my grief away, I'm sorry, but Jordan's here. Forever. And he's always just a thought away. I see a color, and it reminds me of him, a thing on the wall, and Jordan. It's continuously in my brain. It's even worse now that he's gone. Because everything, I'm looking for him everywhere.
I can't even drive around Barrie without driving past some place that reminds me of Ryan and something we used to do together or brings back a happy memory. And I feel like I'm getting to that good place now where... I'm remembering the happy stuff, which is good, more than the last few years. And even during the last few years, there was happy moments. There was a lot of happy moments. And I'm able to, celebrate those more than the pain of the last few years now. So
that's nice. That's what I've come to, too, is like I stand somewhere, and it's not just the sad memories anymore. I remember him giggling and laughing. And, I'm treasuring them more now.
That's a blessing, right? Yeah, for sure. So what do you think we need to do to stop the stigma and to keep people from dying due to toxic drugs?
Well, I think the stigma needs to stop with the hatred that kind of goes around. And we need to accept people for who they are, irregardless of whether we agree with people's lives. You don't have to be nasty about it either. You can say nothing until you've become educated enough to say something. Because by saying things and being uneducated, you're hurting people that aren't educated. And you're hurting that next person from learning the education because they might be following you and your stigma. So the stigma stops with each and every single person that believes it. And we just need to have this conversation about who we are. We don't deserve this stigma, and that it really isn't segregated to any one type of person. There's nobody that's going to be excluded. Every type of person is included in this problem, and we need to work together and find multiple avenues to get rid of this, because it's not just one person. It's not one thought. It's
So what do you
millions
think are
of
some
thoughts.
of the solutions?
Just keeping this conversation. Why are you stigmatizing me? Why would you stigmatize somebody that's valued? I love this person. Why would you hurt this person? Why would you not want to see them succeed? Asking those questions. Because people just, why?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way? We need to find the root cause of why people are feeling that way and then rip it apart and put it back together. Because I really believe people are kind. And that we have just learnt these bad behaviors. And that we keep following bad behaviors because we think it's cool to follow some of this stuff and not become educated because we want to be a part of everybody, right? So...
And I think a lot of it too, it's like, it's scary, right? To let go of the stigma and stuff like that, and to, because then they think you're condoning it, and they don't want to be seen that way, because then they're not going to be accepted.
One of the moms said to me, she said, well, do you really want them to have safe use, safe supply? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I really want people dying in the street? Do I really want to carry around Narcan in my car? Do I really want to have a case of it and actually use it on a regular basis? I don't like that. I would much rather them be in a place with nurses and people that could oversee their care than seeing them on the streets where nobody cares. We need to start putting care into everybody that's alive, not just the people we choose.
To be honest, what you just said, though, I find people on the street care a lot more sometimes than the medical professionals are getting paid a lot of money to actually care. Like the way that the community cares for each other, the way that they look out for each other is so amazing and beautiful. Like our peer support volunteers and the people that have become involved in helping, care for the other people in the community, it's amazing.
Yeah, we're the same in Midland. Like, they'll call me and say, listen, we're at a Narcan kits. Can you drop us off somewhere?
I have that every day. I had that yesterday. We actually sadly lost someone this week. And so I had some peer support volunteers requesting, they wanted to make sure that they had enough naloxone, that it was available everywhere, because naloxone wasn't available for this person, and by the time that help arrived, it was too late. And it's a lot of people really sad in our community right now. So.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, a lot of the kids call and they know I'll just drop it off. They don't even have to. I tell them, I'll just put it at a corner. Yeah, you can go pick it up. I don't even have to see who you are. Yeah, because I don't want you to go without it. And I've signed up for that program too, where you can help people. I haven't actually gotten any calls because I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I've signed up for that too. Just, you never know where I might be, and the location services follow you, and somebody might need help on that.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, so I know that Jordan's death affected your own mental health. Obviously, Ryan's death. The grief and the trauma of that, and the stigma that comes along with that, it affects us, how can it not? But you still continue to advocate. Where does your strength come from?
I think it's from Jordan. All of his beautiful moments and how beautiful of a person that he was. I know he didn't deserve to die. And I think that's where that comes from. He's like, Mom, I didn't deserve to die. I wanted to be here. I wanted to see you grow old and take care of you and keep all those promises I made for years and have you be a grandma and all those kinds of things, it's him.
Yeah, when people ask me where my strength comes from, I feel it's Ryan. I feel he's still here with me in a different way. He's here with me, but he's guiding this journey, and he's giving me the strength. And I feel that.
And I was never a bully before. Like, I was never a real pushy person. Yeah. Jordan was a pushy person. Like, he could hustle anything, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I get that hustle from him sometimes. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a Jordan moment.
Yeah.
You know, Jordan just kind of stepped into my shoes and said, oh, Mom, no, you're not taking that. You are saying something.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of feel like he's given me that power to say something.
Oh, yeah.
Don't just not say anything. Say it. Say it like it is. So I've kind of got that blunt honesty from him, out of which could be curved a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. I think I get that from Ryan, too, because he was such an advocate, and he didn't care what people thought of him. And, you know, I'm more of an introvert. I hate public speaking, but I do. Whenever I'm asked to do an interview, I do it now because I know how important it was. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Ryan was really proud of me for was that I used to go and I used to share his story and our story at CIT trainings with police forces and stuff so that they could do better. And he wanted me to do that because he didn't feel ready to relive that and do that. But it was important for him that they know and that they do better. And also advocating for the SCS in Barrie, which unfortunately didn't get approved before Ryan passed. But he knew that, you know, I was fighting for that because of him and his friends. And he was really proud of that. And, you know, we're still waiting for it. Mm-hmm. So many delays, it's ridiculous. And how many lives we've lost. But yeah, it's amazing how they're still with us. And they still continue to guide the work we do. Mm-hmm. Even though they're not physically present. Right?
And I don't know about you, but like I see a J somewhere or a heart somewhere. Like everywhere I go, like there's something. It's like he's trying to throw a sign out. Mom, I'm still here with you, you know. Or I see posts from other moms too, like cloud signs with their names in the cloud and stuff like that. It's just, I really believe that they're always with us.
For sure, yeah.
You know.
So what would you want to say to other moms or families who have lost loved ones? Like,
don't deal with the stigma. Don't. You know, we are here. Christine, me, Marilyn. I mean, if somebody died in jail, Yusuf has been phenomenal with a lot of things. There's lots of different programs. You need to find your warriors and your tribe, because if you don't, you're going to feel really, really sad. And the best thing for me has been finding everybody else that would stand and talk and love their children and understand, to listen to Jordan's story. And we listened to each other's story with pride, like we knew each other's children. Like I feel like I knew Ryan, like he's part of my family. Like I knew Danny, like I knew Sully, like they're part of my family now, because we are all so connected through our grief. That is, it's a beautiful family, though. It really is. It's
like through the most unimaginable, horrible thing that could ever happen to you, you meet some of the most beautiful people.
It really is. And they're people that want to hear your whole story. They don't want to just, you're talking about Jordan again. No, they're like, what was that about Jordan?
Yeah.
Or what was that about Ryan? You know, they're people that actually want to hear your stories. And that is what makes you heal. Mm-hmm. Talk, say your story. Don't hide it. Yeah. Love your child even though they're gone. Because that makes you heal. Makes you feel good about remembering them. Mm-hmm. Those smiles, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel sad for the people that are still hiding because of that stigma, that they have to go through this journey, this grief journey alone, right? And
I remember that
they're not alone.
I remember that when Jordan was going through the hospital and stuff, and then everybody heard fentanyl, and like everybody was gone. Like, I mean, at one point they're telling us, okay, you can't have so many visitors. In the next week, I'm like begging people, please come and see Jordan, spend some time with him. I need to have a shower. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that difference.
For sure.
But we had some really good people come forward, and Jordan had some beautiful friends that have been loyal since the beginning, all the way through this. Like, they have been so good to me, some of these kids.
And that are still a part of your life.
Yeah.
Right? And I have that with Ryan's friends, that they're part of Ryan's hope, and they want to be continuing and doing this for Ryan, right? Because he touched their lives. And, so that's a beautiful thing.
So my family grew from 1 son to 5, but that's okay because I love them all. They're all great kids, and they're treasures to me too.
Yeah,
so
wonderful. What would you like to say to those that are still struggling with their mental health, with their
one day at a time, and follow your heart, because you believe in yourself. If you just know that you believe in yourself, you really need to. Everybody else believes in you. I believe in you. Christine believes in you, and we believe that every program is not designed for you, but we'll find one for you.
Is there anything else that you want to say before we close?
I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been so supportive and wonderful, and for having me here today to talk about Jordan's story and to let people know that, we are here and we are not going away, and we're going to keep talking about these things because it didn't have to happen this way.
All right. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. Thank you.